Hey guys, what's up? So I thought I would do something a little different. I thought I'd teach you how to write cursive. Right? People tell me all the time, "Wow, your handwriting is so good," and um, and to me, it's just something that I've done for a really long time now. If you've been a part of this channel, you know for a while you've probably seen my video on the couple of like special calligraphy styles that I've displayed. And like to me, writing fancily is it's like a representation of your thoughts, right? Like if you have ugly handwriting, then what does that say about what your mind is like? If that makes any sense, right? So to me, I thought I would teach some cursive, and also like I've heard on the grapevine somewhere that that apparently some schools are bringing back cursive back into the curriculum, and to me, like that, I like that. That sounds good. I mean, just like a general handwriting class would probably be a lot better, or just be important in general, because like, oh my gosh, I've seen some people's handwritings and they make me just want to die inside. And some people will say that that writing by hand is kind of a outdated thing, but I disagree, because this is. Let me show you the iPad that Uncle Sam so graciously gave me, right? So I have to do all of my homework by hand. All of it. I have to do, come on. So yeah, so I have to try and write everything, and then I have to write it by hand. And it just really helps, like, if you can just write really nice. So I thought I'd teach you how to do the same. Let's get this out of the way. And also, like, with the invention of, like, the Apple Pen, which I think, to me, is kind of dumb. I mean, like, I'd much rather write on paper. I'm more of a physical kind of guy, I guess. Like, I'd much rather do it on the good old pen and paper. But anyways, let's get right into this. We're going to do the tutorial, or I guess, specifically how to write the letter forms. All right. So starting off with the letter A, capital A, lowercase a, it's not that hard. B, I guess I should also write the little tails, because it's cursive after all. C, okay, so D is kind of funny, it goes up like this. It's kind of better if you make the loop smaller, but I kind of have to hold the camera and do the letters at the same time. So then D, looks like that. E looks like a backwards 3. And you have a lowercase e. And now this is kind of where a common form, or a common thing is going to show up, a common theme is going to show up. So for the F, go down, over like that. And then you just connect it like that. And then lowercase f, it's just like that. Now G is a really funky one. So you go up like this, you loop over, and you go down and over like that. And that's a G. And lowercase g, just like that. H is kind of unique because it requires 2 strokes, just like that. And lowercase h, it's not too hard. Guess it kind of goes up like this. I don't like loopy scripts, so to me, I kind of just do that to demonstrate what it's like. Here, I'll do it again. So there you go. There's a proper H. Then I, capital I, is this base form that I was telling you about. Lowercase I, just like that. And now J, this is probably my favorite letter. Woo! So that's uppercase and then lowercase. So 2J's. Let's see. What comes after J? Oh, that's right, K. Oh, I guess K also does require 2 strokes, like H does. So there's K. L is also a really fun one, capital L. Like a loop-de-loop. There's the upper and the lowercase. L. Now M, there's 2 ways you can do it. You could do a uppercase kind of like that. That's perfectly acceptable. Sometimes you can go like this too. I don't typically like to use this one. To me, this one looks ugly, so I like this one better. It's all personal preference. Don't be afraid to like come up with your own thing. You come up with your own ideas. That's one of the beauties of writing is that you can. It's an art form, you know. You can make it however you please. So N. They look very similar. O. And then P. P is unique in that you do not connect it to the following letters. Because if you try to, it'll look just like an R. And then there you go, lowercase p. And then I guess like that. You connect it like that, it should look like that. Q is kind of a fun one. So just like that. And then like that. You can also do a Q kind of like this. I prefer the first one more, but like as I said before, personal preferences. Q. R is also kind of one you can do different. So you could do the back like that, as I did before. I usually just go like that, so it looks fine. And then R is kind of, the lowercase r is a very important letter. You should kind of keep an eye on, and I'll explain that in just a second. So Q, R, X. So S is kind of funky because it doesn't usually look like what it does. I don't know. So it kind of looks, so it's like that. So it's more like a triangle. Although you can write a lowercase s like that. I usually do that. Although lately I've been drawing it more like this. Now onto T, using that familiar form as I talked about before. And then just like that. Then you just draw the lines. T, U, just like that. Just go whoop. They're drawn basically the same, except one's taller than the other. Let's see, it's TU. Now V. And now this is where I was talking about lowercase r earlier. This is where it gets important, because if you do it really sloppily, like a U, a V, and an R could all look exactly the same. So U, V, R, and a lowercase n they'll all look exactly the same. So like, I'll demonstrate. Yeah, so like if you're not careful, V could look like a U, an R could look like an N could look like an R, and so on. And that's just not acceptable. It's just wrong. Because that's not, you don't spell never with an R. Because, wait, yes you do. Wait, then you could accidentally spell it as Reven, and that's not a word. T-U-V, W, just like that, connect it down, very simple one. X, just go just like that. And like with the lowercase, you do the same thing, just smaller. Z is also a very fun one, because you don't just go like this, no. You go like, beep, like that. You put a little loop-de-loop on it, like a Y. Oh yeah, I forgot about Y. Yeah, and you do that for both the uppercase and lowercase. And I forgot about Y. So yeah, Y is just kind of like that. And those are the 26 letters of the standard Roman alphabet in cursive form. And I will do a demonstration of what it looks like to write with it. So the quick red fox jumped over the lazy brown dog. There you go. Yep, and that's how you do it. Now I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks to do it right, because like I've seen a lot of cursive. I guess not exactly a lot, but I have seen some really crappy cursive, and so I'll just give you some tips and tricks on how to avoid common problems. Okay, so the first thing that you want to know is that cursive is not the same as writing fast. This is a big one that a lot of people don't understand about cursive. Cursive is not meant to be written fast. A lot of people say this, that it's that like that's how you write cursive. That's not true. Or they'll say that cursive makes you write faster. This is not true. Studies have shown that like at least in children, like writing like individual letters like this is not faster than writing like this. So it takes the same amount of time. So you might as well just take it slow, right? Because if you write really fast, it's going to be super sloppy. So slow and steady wins the race. Or in this case, slow and steady just makes for more acceptable handwriting. Slow and steady. And also, it doesn't really make sense anyways, because like most pens nowadays don't leak. So if you're afraid of like it bleeding through the paper, that's not really a valid excuse. Because like if you write it like fast and unstable, you end up with doctor's handwriting. That's probably why doctor's handwriting is so bad, is because they teach them in medical school that you're supposed to write cursive. I have a funny story about that, actually. So back when I was in basic, we had what they call a MAT trainer, or a military athletics trainer. And like you'd go to him during sick call. Like if I went to him a bunch because I had really crappy feet and really crappy knees. He was really good at his job, but like the sick call slips that he would give us, oh my gosh, that stuff was completely unreadable. Like I have to give it back to the drill sergeant. And like, man, that was like the worst experience, because then they'd ask me, Roberts, what the bit does this mean? And I'm like, I don't know, drill sergeant. Oh man, I wanted to ask him so bad, because like he told us all the time that he went to medical school, for like 10 years. And I wanted to ask him, do they teach you to write that bad in med school? Yeah, it was funny. But anyways, on to the next tip. All right, mind your spacing. So when you're writing stuff out, you want to kind of keep track of how far you are spacing each letter. In general, it's better to like split up letters farther, because in that way you give them more clarity. So like like if you didn't really know better, you could kind of think this is like 2 M's. But you need to spell it. But if you spell it nice and spaced out, now you can read it. It's a lot better. Let's see. But also at the same time, watch out with like certain letters, like especially the lowercase letter D. If you're not careful about spacing, you could accidentally make it look like a CL. So like, so D like that. Oops, left it a little too far out. Now it looks like a CL. So like, cloned. I don't know what that means. That's not a word. I mean, it could become a word, but it's not right now. Yeah. So be careful with certain letters. Let's see. Certain letter combinations. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Let's see, the letter R is generally a good example. So like, if you have a nice big gap, it makes things a lot easier to understand. Because if you don't, it could come off looking like an N, and you don't want that. Let's see, I guess on to the next step. Mind letter sizes. So when you're writing, right, it can be extremely off-putting if like your letters are not of consistent heights. So typically letters will have about 3 layers. So I guess if we go back to like kindergarten, right, we all had these textbooks, right, had the lines like that. Just make sure that letters are of appropriate size. And also, this is kind of just a more aesthetic thing, but if you write your letters really tiny, like, I don't know, say you're trying to save space, like, your letters are really short, like really squat, but also really wide, it makes it a lot more appealing if, like, really tall letters like L and T, make them about like 3 to 4 times bigger than the smaller letters. And like what I mean by that is like, we'll do kind of a big one. Let me set this up. All right, so if you write, so let's see, like, yeah, let me orient the camera. I don't know, that was kind of a bad example. But like, I don't know, sometimes like if you write really tiny, I don't know how I explain it. Like, maybe I can find. All right, so this is kind of what I mean. So like the letter, so I write, I guess I mixed it up. It's supposed to be red. Well, red fox, not brown fox, but that's besides the point. So as you can see, like it's extremely squat. It can be more appealing to make taller letters, like extra tall, especially if they are the first, like, capital of a sentence. Like, I guess you didn't see that. I'll try that again. It helps make like where sentences start and stop a lot more noticeable. So like if you're writing a letter or something, which I don't really know when you would do that. I mean, I guess like if you were like me and you went to basic and you don't have your phone on you, except for like one time a week, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of letters. But yeah, so like when you're writing a letter, it can make it more aesthetically pleasing to make the first capital of a sentence a lot bigger than the rest. Let's see. I guess on to the next tip. It's okay. It's okay to move your hand mid-word. Because, I mean, think about it. Some words are really big. Let's say, like a anti-disestablishment Arianism. This is a really long word. Oh, I missed one. There you go. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. It's a really long word. There's no way that you're gonna write it in one go. So it's okay to take your hand off the paper, because if you try to do it like without moving your hand, you're gonna run out of room and it will look really ugly. And it is established. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be an S. Yeah, so in order to maintain like very nice uniformity with the size of letters, it's okay to move your hand. And also, I'd recommend, so like how I write is that I will only use my fingers to move the like the pen up and down. So like, and then I'll use my wrist. I'll kind of like nudge my wrist in the direction I want to write. So like, it's like ant. I only move my pen up and down. I have seen some people use only their hand, or only their fingers to write. To me, that's kind of weird, and it's uncomfortable for me. You can do as you'd like, but just do what looks good, right? Just do what looks good. And on to the final tip. You just gotta practice, right? Like, I didn't just start writing nice one day, in one day. It took me a long time to actually get good at it. And it's kind of funny because, like, when I first started practicing cursive, like legit, it was back when I lived in Alaska, and we were at this famous restaurant. Yeah, it's famous. It's called the Moose's Tooth. If you lived in Alaska, you probably know about it. We were eating pizza. We were waiting for our pizza to show up, and I was really bored. And I just said, you know what, I'm gonna learn cursive. And so I just spent like an hour and a half, like practicing. And it was really hard because like I couldn't quite get it to look good, and like I practiced a lot at school, and I continued to practice, and now people are telling me that my handwriting is really good all the time. All right, so yeah, I guess that's about everything I wanted to teach. If I come up with anything else, I might make a follow-up video after. Hope everybody has a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.